I've always lived here in Jacksonville. I grew up here and went to school here, of course. Graduated from Lee High School. Went to college first time back in 1993, 94. And didn't do too well. And made some poor decisions in life, as a normal 19-year-old kid does. Found myself, as a parent a couple years after that. I'm a single parent. With 2 kids, and that's hard. And my health is not the best. Back in 2001, it was about 6 months after I had my son, I started getting really sick, and I was working and continued to work. My health just kind of kept declining to where it was so bad that I was only able to work about an hour a day. It was scary, because you don't know how are you going to take care of yourself, let alone yourself and your children. So I moved back home to get on my feet. Supposed to be there just for a few months. I have a good family backing. I have a small family, but they're very supportive, and that helps. That helps a lot. My stepmother was working part-time for Take Stock at Florida State College. And so she introduced me. I never heard of Take Stock or anything like that. And she, had me fill out an application for both my children, and they got accepted. My daughter, she had been in it for, I think, about a year. It was through one of her meetings that her advisor said that Take Stock was joining with Goodwill, and would I be interested in meeting with one of Goodwill's A-Step advisors. I wasn't quite, sure, what it was, other than they said, they were trying to help the parents of the children with Take Stock, get an education and to better their situation as well.
The Goodwill mission is to remove barriers to employment, and the greatest barrier to employment is a lack of education. So Goodwill is committed to provide those pathways to education so that people can not just get jobs, but get better jobs. Take Stock in Children is a scholarship mentoring program that works with young people ages 13 to 18, and an A-Step works with adults that are ready to come back and find a college certification or degree, usually ages 25 and up.
I met with Jill, and she was just absolutely wonderful.
When I first met Kristen, she was had really a lack of confidence, and I don't think Kristen has ever put herself first. She's a wonderful mother, and I think once her children got older and they were leaving to go to college, it really motivated her to step up as well, and be an example to her children.
And even the first time I went to college, I had never met with any advisors at the college, so I didn't really know what to do. And she was so patient, and she just kind of walked me through step by step and got me there. And it was very nerve-wracking. I was very scared to go back to college because it had been over 20 years since I had had any schooling. The first term, I was a nervous wreck, an absolute nervous wreck. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to make it. I was just, and Jill was right there. She was, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Don't be so hard on yourself.
After her first semester of earning straight A's, I think she was blown away, and she blew me away. I couldn't believe it. And second semester, she took an English class, and her professor nominated her for Outstanding Student of the Semester for Kent Campus, which there's thousands of students at Kent Campus. So she was nominated, and we were notified that she was selected from the committee to receive the award.
That was just surreal. I was thinking of all the people that are going to school, all the younger people that have probably better memories than I do and stuff. And so I thought, maybe I wasn't quite deserving of it. Jill, pulled me to the side and she said, if you want a bachelor's, we'll get you your bachelor's. And I'm just like, you know, wow. I cried. It was such a wonderful feeling. It was something I never thought I'd have.
Her self-confidence has gone through the roof. She has been praised by many professors. She's really exceeded, I think, her own expectations, not only mine, but her own, and really feels really confident and knows this is the time that she's going to break through and really do something wonderful with her life. She's really our model, you know, A-step student.
You got to believe in yourself. Know that you're worth it. That's you know, that's, I think, the most important thing I could say to someone. I never thought I'd be here where I am today. This is a miracle to me. To be given this second chance is I'm so grateful.
My name is Leonard Halstead. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. In 2012, my brother got into some legal issues. He got 2 years in prison, and my niece at that time was 13 years old. The only choice that she had was go to a foster home, or I give up my career, move to Virginia, and take care of her and his house until he gets his life back. It was a rough road. I didn't like Virginia, couldn't find a solid job. When he finally got out of prison and moved back home is when I decided that I needed to go about my life. I found myself in Jacksonville and running out of money, unemployment running out, couldn't find anything solid. The biggest problem was housing, couldn't find affordable housing. Someone told me about the Job Junction, so I went there, found it, was pretty surprised at what they had to offer. They had computer labs, resume help, which my resume did need some upgrading. They helped me tremendously with all those chores because I'm not really that good on a computer. I could build anything, but I'm not too smart when it comes to computers.
When I first met Leonard, he was new to Florida. And coming from Florida, from out of state myself, I understand the struggles that come with that. Even though he had good work ethic and even though he had this good professional, background, he still had so many difficulties finding work. Whereas maybe in better economic times, he wouldn't have a problem whatsoever. People would actually be recruiting him. But when you come down here and you're not in the best financial situation, I know things can go bad very fast.
I came to the decision that it was either move back to South Carolina and try that all over again, or stick where I'm at and see if I could get a bed in a shelter so it would give me the opportunity to save up enough money for first, last security. It was not an easy thing to do, living on a bunk bed with 6 bunk beds in a room and 2 plastic containers for all your belongings. It was pretty tough. It humbled me. There was a lot of broken people there. I'd never dreamed in a million years that I would be in that position. I always felt like people that get in that situation bring it upon themselves. I didn't realize that a lot of Americans are just 2 paychecks away from being in the same situation. I mean, it was heartbreaking. I felt defeated, I felt lost, I felt hopeless, depressed, and my lust for life just vanished. It was just, I was like an empty shell. It was horrible. It was a horrible existence, waking up feeling that way day in and day out. It was some of the worst days of my life, to be honest with you. It really was. I was ashamed to tell David at Goodwill. I was embarrassed. I didn't want him to look at me as like somebody that can't even keep a roof over his head. Well, when I told him, he kind of gave me this look that he knew something was going on.
It was terrifying because it made me think that can happen to anybody. It wasn't limited to just people with addiction issues. It wasn't limited to people with, mental health issues. This could happen to just about anybody because a guy with that kind of work history, how can he not find employment? How does he end up in a homeless shelter?
I continued to keep on checking in with David at the Job Junction 2-3 times a week. I would pop in and look online and do applications. They never gave up on me. That's what I was really impressed. Not only did I get the help that they basically offer, David took an interest in me and my story. And he always gave me hope and told me don't give up. To be honest with you, I'd come into the Goodwill Job Junction more times than none just to have somebody to talk to get encouragement. And I got all of the above.
Every time I asked him, I'd be like, if I was helping him with his resume, I said, can you be here at 10? He was always there at 9:50. And that's the kind of stuff I already knew that I can kind of put a little bit of faith in this guy, that if we do kind of, play like middleman to an employer, he's always going to hit it out of the park.
Sure enough, I got a call from Elite Hospitality Industries, and they were highly interested in speaking to me, and they wanted to give me the position as chief engineer, which I was thrilled. And I always said to myself, one of these days, I'm going to have a job on the beach here in one of these hotels as the top man. And sure enough, it happened. It's beautiful. I mean, life is so good. I come to work, and I work in the guest room, and I assist guests, and I look at the ocean every day. I mean, to me, it doesn't get much better than that, especially coming from an environment like Brooklyn.
It's funny because now I actually call him for job leads because of his position at the hotel. So I'll say, do you need any front desk agents? Do you need any kind of, any housekeepers, things to that sort? And he's always there for me. It's as though he wasn't even a participant. It's as though I didn't even really help him. So that's where we are today.
To say the least, I got a lot of help from him. It wasn't just a little interview and then here's your resume, hand it to me or sent to my email and have a nice day. The Job Junction took interest in my dilemma and kept on fighting on for me and helping me out. It's nice when somebody sees where you've been and where you are now. And life is good. I got a nice little efficiency apartment. It's not much, but it's in like a kind of eclectic part of town. Wood floors, a fireplace. The building was built like in the 20s, and it's, nice woodwork. For $500 a month, everything included. So, I mean, it's not on top of the world, but you know what? I don't need to be living in a mansion to be happy. I'm happy in my little hut. When I found myself homeless, it devastated me. But today, all of that's gone. It's like, I could take a sigh of relief. At the end of the day, I do the best I can at work and I feel proud of myself again. My self-esteem has come back. I walk with my chin up now, not looking down and not wanting to make eye contact with people because I felt so out of place and so hopeless, for lack of better words. It's amazing what can happen if you strive on. Never give up.
I grew up in a rough neighborhood in Philly, and I kind of moved with the wrong crowd, and I got mixed up in a bad situation. And me and my friend were chilling outside of my grandmother's house, and someone rolled by and started to shoot at us, and my best friend was shot in his head and all throughout his body, and I was shot in the leg. I wasn't told right away that he didn't make it. They waited a while, I guess, till they stabilized me to actually tell me that he didn't make it. I was in the hospital for 5 days. I had to get 2 blood transfusions in order just to even live. And the doctors told me it would probably be about 6 months before I was able to walk again. It was rough. I mean, every day I wake up and I try to move on past it, but it's hard when you lose your best friend and, everything that you're used to, you have to let it go. I came to Florida just for a better life. I used to come here all the time to visit my family, so I was kind of familiar with Jacksonville, and I liked it here. I felt like the environment was good. I met a lot of positive people here, and at the time I needed a lot of positivity in my life from going through what I went through, so I figured Jacksonville would be a good place for me. I was told about Job Junction by a friend of the family, and I went to Job Junction and they told me that a few stores had a position open. So I applied, and by the grace of God, they called me back, and I've been working with Goodwill for about 1.5 years now.
Brianna is a sales associate, and that encompasses many different things. She accepts donations, she sorts the clothing, she hangs clothing, she operates our cash register system, she engages the customers, she does it all, and she does it all with a smile on her face. The team loves her. It's actually, when she's not there, it's like, oh my gosh, where's Bree? Because there's days that we just need her to keep everything upbeat.
I like the environment. I like the people that come, and they're always so friendly, and they just want to help people. And I like that they're coming to help people because they know that, you know, donating helps us give jobs. So I like that.
I was actually really shocked when Brianna told me about her background, because she's such a vivacious person that I really couldn't see her being someone who had came from a rough side of town and having had troubles with the law that she had. But we all know that people tend to be a product of their environment, and I think one of the best things she could have ever done was leave Philadelphia and seek a new environment.
My relationship with Barbie is really good. She motivates me, she helps me. I feel like she's not only my boss, but like she's like a mother figure. She always talks to me and makes sure I'm okay. She encouraged me to go to school. I'm currently in college right now, I'm studying IT. I hope to get a bachelor's degree. And I always wanted to own my own business, so maybe I could possibly own an IT company.
She has really fought against the odds. She's a very determined young lady. Her perseverance is unbelievable. If I had to describe her, I told her this one day, if I had to describe her as an animal, I would think of her as a cat, because she always has the ability to land on her feet.
My experience at Goodwill helped me become who I am today. It helped me be more independent. The job that I do, I go out and I talk to people. It helped me network a lot more and get over, you know, my fear of talking to people. I guess I can say it put me in a position to, you know, just get out there and do things. Get out there and help people. It made me want to help people. Job Junction actually still calls me to this day to make sure that I don't need any help finding another job.
My hopes for Brianna's future is that the sky is the limit. Based on her personality and her desire to succeed, I don't see why we won't all know one day who Brianna Johnson is.